What's up? My name is Clay, and having a beer with my buddy tonight. I'm so micro wasted. You dumb bitch.
Welcome back, everyone, to Drunk with Buds, a show about sharing a drink with my friends and having discussions you would normally find at a bar. My name is Brian, and today's guest is my good friend from back in the day, Clayton. What's up, Clayton?
What up, bruh?
You go by Clay, though, right?
I go by Clay now.
You
Yeah.
go by Clay, okay. As always, I find all my information about the beers we drink on the Untapped app. That's Untapped, UNTAPPD. It's an app where you can discover all types of beer, learn about them, and rate them. I use it all the time. I fucking love it. You probably don't, right?
Unfortunately,
Because he's not a craft beer drinker.
I am not.
Okay, the first beer tonight is called Soft Parade from Shorts Brewing. We just used Shorts Brewing from the last episode, actually. Soft Parade is a fruit beer with a 7.5% ABV and 15 IBUs. 58,000 people on Untapped check this beer in with an average of 3.65 out of 5. Untapped Style Guide says that Soft Parade is Shorts' flagship fruit ale beer. This rose-colored ale has aromas of ripe strawberries and grain. Leslie F. from Untapped says, giving it a 1, I guess to be generous. Seriously, fucking cough syrup. Disgusting. So
That's kind of ruthless a little bit.
So she gave it a 1 out of 5. Berry hater.
Berry hater.
All right, go ahead and try it. It's real tart.
Yeah.
It's like strong.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you like it?
It's weird that I'm not a big craft drinker, and usually when I drink craft beer, it just doesn't go down right, but I think it's the berries.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Hey. See?
It's weird.
That's awesome. Because I'm not a big berry guy. Like, I am, but this sounded like a lot of berries, so I knew it was going to be strong. And it's not bad, but it's a little... I couldn't drink like 5 of these.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice. Like, oh man, I'm going to go bonfire with my boys. I'm going to go get this berry craft beer.
Could you lawn mow with it?
You know what? I don't think so.
Yeah, but it tastes good. Yeah. So what do you prefer, beer or liquor?
Ooh, it depends on the occasion and the day I had.
All right. Well, let's say you just got off work, hard day at work, beer or liquor.
I would probably have to go to the liquor.
Liquor.
Yeah.
What kind's your favorite?
I'm a big fan of Jack Daniels
and
Jim Beam Apple. For some reason, I can't do Jim Beam, the regular. I gotta have that apple in there. So
I love Jack Daniels with a Coke. It's just classic.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Yeah.
What's your go-to right now? Do you even drink much?
No, I don't drink as much as I used to. But my go-to is Bud Light or Blue Moon. Kind of, I would call it the classics.
Blue Moon's awesome.
Yeah, you can never go wrong.
Yeah. When did you first start drinking? Like, what was the first time you drank some beer or alcohol?
The first time I drank a beer was probably when I was like 10.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so fucking surprised because when I've done the show with a couple people, and that's usually the answer. I was like 11. I was like 9.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I never did.
Yeah, it was. My dad wasn't a big drinker, but I would always be staring at a couple of Budweisers in the fridge, and I don't know, one night, and I was playing video games, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something crazy.
Oh, no.
So I went in there, and I opened it, and I took a drink of it, and it was just god-awful.
Yeah, absolutely awful.
Awful, and I'm like, I'm 10, I shouldn't be doing this stuff.
This is why I don't drink this.
So I hurried up and poured it down the sink, and then, of course, I get in trouble the next morning.
Because he knew.
He knew that there was a beer missing, and the unfortunate part.
So he counts his beers.
I guess.
See, like, if I have a case in there, I don't know.
All right, it's cool.
If I have one in there, I'll know. And then, like, if it's gone, then I'll know.
Yeah.
Like, hey, motherfucker, Phil, what are you doing?
Yeah. So, if I was older, I would say, the next time I started actually drinking liquor, trying it for the legit first time, I would have, like, looking back, I'm like, dude, he had 3 beers in there. You took one.
Dumbass.
Come on, man. Like,
he's got to know.
He's got to know.
When it's that low, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is. Now I don't think Budweiser tastes that bad.
Yeah.
It's just not one of my go-tos.
When did you start realizing you like beer? Or alcohol? I always catch myself.
I think it had to do with college. I mean, I had a different experience when I was, like, when I very first started doing it, was 14, with a group of friends.
Just with my cousin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy night, and that was another instance where I got in trouble because I had to have a relative of mine come get me when I didn't even know where I was at. So.
Oh no.
So my buddy, he knew where we were at. So.
Where were you? Do you know?
I think it was. I think it was in Inwood.
Okay.
Somewhere in Inwood.
Somewhere far away.
Yeah, it was like
So you can't get caught.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like Inwood now, when you like drive by it, like, yeah, you have people there, but the population's like 100, if that. Like if you're lucky. And I think they just try to boost that just to make them seem better. I don't know, but it was like an old like cabin type thing, house. I keep visualizing like a cul-de-sac. I don't know. I could be just.
You're just. Yeah. But that was like you got wasted. What were you drinking? Do you know?
Oh man, I think we got the $10 vodka at Walmart that night because we had to. There were older people there, obviously. So.
Skull.
I think Skull. Yeah.
Bullfrogs, mixing Kool-Aid and Mountain Dew.
Oh man.
Oh, those were the days.
Man.
That's probably when I started drinking. Like when someone handed me one of those and said, "No, look, you won't taste the alcohol. Try it." Mm-hmm. And you do. It's like, oh, it doesn't taste like anything. And you keep drinking. And then you just had so much fun getting drunk. Yeah. Then you start turning up things. It was a gateway drug. And
then I think how I got really into, I would say, drinking, it had to be my freshman year of college. Throughout my high school, I mean, yeah, there'd be parties, but I would maybe have like a drink, if that. Yeah. Not saying I was like, oh man, I'm such a good boy or anything like that, but I think it had to deal with the soccer house, the at Holy Cross.
Holy Cross.
Yeah, I can say that. I mean,
yeah,
I graduated there already,
good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
The seniors had a soccer house, and every Friday they would throw a party. Every Friday and Saturday, no matter what, and sometimes during the week. But they called it a quote unquote rager because it was the Notre Dame Michigan football game. Mm-hmm. And of course, everybody knows I'm a Michigan. Yeah, everybody knows I'm a Michigan fan. So
that's why we stopped being friends. Just kidding.
Never forget. But no, it was just a big rager, and I just, for some reason that night, I knew I wasn't 21, but there was a soccer manager. I asked him, I was like, "Hey, go inside and get me a bottle of liquor." And get me something to mix it with. So he just came back out with a Jack Daniels, and I had my little Michigan shot glass because I think we won that night.
Probably not. Yeah, we're going.
Well, it's the unfortunate part. But I had that, and I was doing shots with it. One of the seniors. Him and I were doing it because he's a big Jack Daniels fan. So I was like, I've never done this before. So, I have this, I guess, a double shot glass, and he's got a little mini one, but he never told me that. Dude, you're like taking like a double shot. I like legit thought that was
just supposed to be a shot. Yeah.
Correct. And then we just got on beer pong, and
you were taking shots instead?
We were doing shots and the beer as well, and it was Keystone Light. I mean, back then, it was like $40 a keg or something like that. So
jeez.
It was like $40-$50, and
that'd be awesome.
What they used to do, they just used to charge people like $5.
And then make a good profit.
Oh, yeah, they made profit. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is that I don't know how much I drank that night, and I ended up apparently, like, the buddy that bought me the liquor had to, like, drive me home. He had to, like, drive people with my car, and I ended up, like, slipping because it was, like, mildew that night or something, and I hit my face on the door, and apparently I got in with my RA at Holy Cross. I don't remember any of it.
And you can't drink at Holy Cross, right?
No.
Yeah.
Very religious. The thing is, I think from my perspective, doing that in high school and then going to like a Catholic institution with these kids, like, it was highly frowned upon.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just go crazy. Like, perfect example, these St. Mary's girls and Notre Dame, like, that whole Notre Dame, Indiana type thing, like, they're on another level because their first experience it, so they're just constantly wanting to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, IUSB, they have people, but it's not the level, like, what Notre Dame, Indiana.
That's what college is, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's your time to fucking experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of these girls were experimenting, and it was like I'm just sitting there like,
I've been doing this, motherfucker.
Like, this is like another day.
Yeah.
Like, but
everyone's loving it, having a good time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that was probably, that first semester was probably the best, like, 3.5 months of my life, like, hands down.
Just so much fun.
So much fun just because it was, you're a freshman coming in, and these senior guys are inviting us. Granted, there was, hazing that we had to do, which sucked. So to go into that, we had to chug a beer. We had a shotgun.
Party of hazing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is how they hazed us. Every time we went to a party, as soon as we stepped on the porch, they would have like a sophomore or junior stand on the porch, and they had to know when a freshman steps on there. And therefore, we had a shotgun of beer, like, right then and there. Every time. It could be like a Tuesday, and
at like 11 a.m.
Like 11 a.m., you're like, one of the guys was like, hey, just come knock on the door and just come in real quick.
Just so they can get you?
Yeah, they used to do that to me all the time, because I had a car and everything, and I'm like, what the
Were you, like, one of the only people to have a car?
There was a few. I was one of I would say, the fortunate ones. But...
And like, if people come to college from out of town or something, they're not going to have a car.
So a lot of our teammates were actually from Canada. So, of course, they're not going to drive down from Canada, eh?
Yeah.
So, I thought that was a cool way to meet friends and stuff. I was like, hey, I'm the driver. Like, let's go. But they used to keep the Keystone Light to, like, very, very cold. Like, not about freezing, but almost freezing. Yeah. So it was difficult. We had a kid from Georgia. We call him Soko. I don't.
You just love Soko?
Well, because he was from Georgia, and they gave everybody a nickname.
Yeah.
Of course, they call it. Unfortunately, I don't want to say this on the podcast, but I will. They call me Bieber because I had a long...
okay, we used to tease you about that.
Yeah, they used to call me Bieber, and then some of the workouts and stuff. Then I got the name Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse?
Yeah.
That's not a bad name.
I was like, I'll take that over freaking Bieber.
That's way better than Bieber.
That dude ruined my life. I loved my long hair, but it just sucked.
Fuck Justin Bieber.
I know. Yeah. You and your wife that I don't even know his wife. What is his wife's name? Isn't she like a model or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's just, those are the people I'm like.
Yeah.
Like, you could have just had short hair.
Yeah. He does now. You probably look like him now still.
Yeah, probably.
So, last call award. It's the end of the night. You're at a bar. The bartender comes up to you and says, hey, last call. What do you want? Are you going to choose this? I'm not saying this is the only beer you'd choose for last call. I'm saying would this be kind of like something that you would go home with?
I don't think I would. I think I would probably go a different route. Depending on how I'm feeling, I maybe just do like a quick shot of Jack Daniels or or Fireball, and then call it a night.
Yeah.
Because I think when
this is like too sweet. It's good, but it's too sweet.
Yeah, it just.
What would you rate it out of 5?
I would say at least a 3.
That's
in
not
my
bad.
opinion.
At
Least a 3. It's not what that Lindsay or Leslie said.
Yeah.
That was kind of
Leslie F. Disgusting.
Jesus Christ.
I got to give it a 2.5.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Everybody's taste buds are different. So I mean, I like berries a lot. So that's probably why.
Yeah.
Why I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. Going to the store and stuff, I wouldn't be like, oh man,
I need a soft parade.
right now.
Yeah. All right. As we finish our first beer, we will be right back with our next one on the next segment we call Pub Talk. Cheers.
It's Pub Talk. It's Pub Talk.
Our next beer we are cracking open is from Dark Horse Brewing Company, which is a first for the show, called Boffo Brown. That's Boffo. I don't know what it means. It didn't say in the description, so whatever. Its ABV is clocked in at 7% with 26 IBUs. 27,000 people have checked in, giving it an average of 3.6 out of 5. Untapped Style Guide says that the Boffo Brown pushes the envelope of what an American brown ale is to most people. Josh S. from Cleveland writes, "Let me tell you something. When a beer has a 7% ABV and straight up tastes like coffee, you know this is a dangerous drink. I love it." Josh rated it a 4 out of 5. Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Whoa.
So let's try it.
Oh.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
His face right now.
Oh. I don't know. It reminds me of Guinness for how dark it is.
It's really dark, and it's a brown,
Uh-huh.
so it tastes like there's like toffee. Yeah, you don't like it.
No.
I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite.
There's no berries in it.
There's no berries. It needs more berries. You need to get the other beer and put it in here.
Oh, my dear Lord.
All right, as we drink that, Clay brought a topic to my bar table. Should college athletes get paid? What do you think, Clay?
Well, I think a lot has to go into this because there's a lot of college athletes out there, and I think it would be unfair if it was just D1 players. Don't get me wrong; they bring in a lot of revenue.
If they were to get paid, they'd get paid more.
I mean,
It shouldn't be like an equal thing.
correct. And from my perspective, every college athlete has a different background that they come from.
Yeah.
A lot of these college athletes, I'm not even going to say just D1 or D2. They're trying to get to their dream, and that could be
NBA,
NBA, NFL, MLS, playing overseas, playing hockey.
Yeah.
They're at that one where, like, they're trying to go to the next level, so they're going to do whatever they can. I think to a certain degree, I think these universities and stuff, they make so much money.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, just for example, these people at Notre Dame,
Right. Especially like their football.
their football, like
program.
they're elite in every. I hate to say that. It's kind of bitter coming.
I
off
have
my
it
tongue.
recorded, so now
Yeah.
anytime you talk shit.
Yeah, so it's a little bitter saying that, but Notre Dame has all these elite programs, and a lot of these colleges, they're selling out every game, no matter what.
And they're charging $10 for a large pop.
Correct.
Shit like that.
To my degree, I think they should, I don't even know, have a certain percentage that each athlete can get.
Now, see, as you said, you were a college athlete, so you understand how it goes.
Yeah, because when you're a college athlete, that's your full-time job,
Yeah.
and some of these athletes, they're trying to double major, So that's taking 6 or 7 classes a semester.
And then you expect them to get a part-time job just to have some spending money?
Correct.
Kind of, it's not fair.
Yeah, it defeats the purpose because, I mean, nowadays there's so much that goes into the analytics with any sport. I mean, I even seen it with bowling.
Yeah.
With Ancilla at Quick Lanes in Plymouth. Like, they're watching their footage, they're watching their film, and I don't think a lot of people understand how much time that these athletes are actually spending.
Yeah. Did you see that commercial? I think it was the NCAA dropped. It was like a 30-second commercial about an athlete's day, and all these athletes are like, really? That's not how it is. Yeah. It's not even close.
No. They make it seem, the NCAA, these are people, I call it the blue collar or white collar, whatever you want to say. These are the 1 to 5%ers that they just sit in an office and they just, hey, I'm going to do what I want, and I'm not going to put these kids, they're going to graduate, and there's going to be other kid that's going to step in his place. But I think there should be a percentage at every level, especially if your program is top 25. Like these Alabama kids, like.
Yeah, and a lot of people that debate this always say something like, "Well, they're getting a college degree. That should be worth it in itself." It's like not a lot of these kids are though. They're just one and done.
Yeah, and that's, I think that is the biggest problem.
Well, and I think if you paid them, they might stay.
Correct. I think that's the biggest thing where I'm at right now is, I had to make a decision in college because it was either continue playing soccer or I couldn't afford to pay my bills. So I had to walk away because I had to get money.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part, I went to a small, institution. And
so like you going professional might be a little smaller chance.
Correct. And, and some of these athletes, they're going to come to grips. I came to grips with it like, Clay, you're not going to go pro in soccer. Like, you need to focus on your studies and this and that. And
you could have if that knee was all the way healed, right?
Yeah, it was the right knee.
Yeah. Okay.
Gave
Same
out.
here. That's why I didn't play basketball.
Yeah,
not because I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
And can't dribble.
No, I mean, it's just one of these things where, some of these athletes, I remember days where it was 5 a.m. practices. Like we had to be out there at 5 a.m. So that's me waking up at 4 a.m., making sure I'm at the field by 4:30, making sure I'm ready to go. Because if we're really not ready to go by 4:45,
and then physically busting your ass, like more than a factory job sometimes.
Correct,
like,
and
it's insane. And then you go back at 4:00 p.m.
Yep, so,
2 a days.
Yep. So even when some of these, I guarantee a lot of these sports teams, if you're not winning, or even if you are winning, they're going to have you do 2 a days or something. 5 a.m. practices, 5 to 7, and then you have
study film.
You got to study film for an hour.
Eat right.
You got to eat right, and then you got to go to class. You got to be able to pay attention when you're just busted your butt off for the last 2 hours running. Yeah. And then they expect you to study for all these tests. Yeah. And that's another thing. I think a lot of these Division I athletes, or even D2, D3, I don't even know how it's set up, but I know where I went, I didn't have tutors. As you hear a lot of these, when they go to these bowl games or they're in their championship games, they actually have tutors that go with them to help them study. Yeah. A lot of these institutions don't have that.
Or Notre Dame, you just cheat off your tutors.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you do. You just have them send it to an email, just tag everybody in it, and, you just change a couple words.
Yeah. And see, that's exactly why so many kids leave early, because it's so hard. Yeah. It's way harder than probably being a professional athlete.
Correct, yeah. Like how my day was, most days it was 5 to 7 or 6 to 8. And then, I had an hour to get to class. And then I had classes from 9 to 3. And then I had to have practice right at 5 o'clock to 7. And then after 7, you're already like dead to the world type thing.
Or you have a night class at 7:30.
Yeah, I had classes at 6 o'clock at night, and those were 2.5 hours. And don't get me wrong, I don't have that high of an attention span, but sitting in for a class for 2.5 hours and knowing that, like, hey, I gotta
be up at 4.
I gotta be up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
and
that's awful.
I think a lot of these people that discuss, they're getting a free education. I think what the NCAA should do is give them a certain percentage, and make it a rule where you have to stay at least 2 to 3 years, get a degree,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore, in my opinion, I think the sports now that I'm growing up watching, they would be 10 times better.
Yeah.
I can tell in the NBA who the one and done players are.
Lonzo Ball, cough, cough.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball is the perfect example.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him and his family.
I can't knock his hustle, like trying to start big baller brand and shit.
absolutely.
Like, yeah, he had ideas and shit. It just didn't pan out, bro.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like, you had a good idea. Entrepreneurship. You're trying to do your own thing outside of being a professional athlete. But at the end of the day, like,
imagine if you went to college and for business in 4 years, and then you tried doing it.
Correct. And especially where he was at doing it in LA, in California, where you have so much competition. No, I mean, no matter where you're at,
but so many connections as well.
Correct. And I think that biggest thing is it has to deal with his dad. Like, if his dad would have just chilled out, like, don't get me wrong, if I was a father and my son was one of the best point guards in the country at that time, I would want to do everything I can to promote him. But I think LeVar,
there's a line.
Yeah, LeVar just went 100 meters too far, 100 yards, however you want to put it, but
put so much hype around Lonzo,
Correct.
and then it just failed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The perfect example is, a lot of these people are saying, well, LeBron's running the Lakers, and that's why Lonzo got, traded. No, Lonzo got traded because the Lakers knew that he's not part of our future.
And Anthony Davis was.
So it's one of those things where, if we pay these college athletes a certain percentage, I think the college athletics would skyrocket, and these kids won't be going out of bowl games either.
Yeah. Because a lot of people sit during bowl games.
And that's the thing that, as we've noticed, if you're not in the college playoff now, there's no point of you even playing.
Like, just think, though, like, how much harder college kids would play if, say, hey, you get to this bowl game and you win it, guess you're going to get this bonus.
Correct.
Just like in football. You catch, however many passes or rush it, however many yards, you get a huge bonus.
Yeah.
So people are going to be busting their ass for you. Like,
yeah. I would say, a lot of these college athletes don't have a contract, because a contract would be, everybody looks at a contract like, oh man. I think writing up a contract, having a minimum GPA. I mean, a lot of these athletes, they have a minimum GPA that they have to do. Have it in contract. Like, this is a certain percentage, and the way if you have this number of wins, like, this is what the whole team gets or something. Have some incentive by it. So, these college athletes, one and done, they're going to the professional life. They're spending, I would say for the perfect example, a lot of these one and done players for the football, you're getting drafted, but you're making the practice squad, and you're going to be on the practice squad for the next, like, 3 or 4 years, making maybe $40K. Yeah. Perfect example, I know a lot of the South Bend Cubs, that's single A. They're trying to get to the big leagues. A lot of those guys, they're not making a lot of money. Yeah. But, it just goes to show that I'm gonna go with the greed of the world we live in today. Yeah. Those people in NCAA, if they just devise a plan for these college athletes, they're going to probably and that's the thing, I don't even think they realize how much more revenue that they would get by having these college athletes stay. Yeah. And
there'd be so much more competition down there.
There'd be so much more competition, and not even the college playoff, I like the college playoff to a certain extent, but just doing something because I think their system that they have now is completely failing.
Yeah.
Because I think the average lifespan of a running back in the NFL, if I remember right, it's like 2 to 5 years if you're lucky. That's why a lot of these, like I'm going to get Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, a lot of these big name players now, they're wanting all this money guaranteed because they know that, I went to Le'Veon Bell. I don't even know if he went all 4 years. I'm not sure. If he did, praise him because, he's an elite now, but it just something needs to change, and that's just my opinion with the NCAA with these college athletes because I think we're doing a disservice for them.
So these professional leagues, let's take a look at the NBA. They allowed high school students to come into the league years ago. Then they got rid of it so that kids could go to college. They said one and done, pretty much. They're now talking about bringing that back and letting high school players enter the league. Do you think that should happen? Or, I couldn't see... Does the NFL have a rule like that where they have to go to college?
Yeah, I believe
I'm pretty
so.
sure, yeah.
I think you have to go to college, I think, for at least 1 year before you can go into the draft. I mean, there are some players...
I just didn't know the specifics of... I know that there's no high school players that jump into the NFL. I knew that, but...
Yeah. I mean, there are some that when they do their little, I'm John Doe, Plymouth High School, like some of these guys, and you sits there and makes you think, like, did they just come out of their high school right in the NFL? Like, are they that good?
Yeah.
But I think they have a rule that you have to at least go to college.
Yeah. So now that the NBA is talking about letting high school players enter the draft, do you think the NCAA could counter that with paying college athletes to come join them and get a free education?
Yeah, I mean...
I know that NCAA is so hard set on not paying their players. It's like a huge thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the NBA does that and then everybody else does that professionally, could you see that? I think then finally we could see that happening.
I think to a certain degree, depending on, like I said, a lot of these athletes, I remember, switching back to the NFL, like Clowney out of, I think it was Clemson, if I remember right. He said he would have stayed and earned his degree, but, he had a family that he had, his family back home he had to take care of, so that's why he went in the draft. Yeah. I just, to a certain degree, if the NBA went to, hey, you can go in the draft right out of high school, I think it's a disservice to these young adults, these young adolescents, because that's not really showing them I want to say qualities, I don't know how to say it, but you're not teaching them anything. Yeah. They're going to have to figure out time management. They're going to have to figure out their finances, but, that's why they hire these agents, and you see a lot of these agents take advantage of these players. I think the NCAA needs to counter that and have it across the board, like going back to these athletes getting paid. Mm-hmm. If the NBA wants to counter that, but that's the thing. These backgrounds of these, kids, what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, they might just want to be like, I just want to get paid. But a lot of people that you see is, they're going to one and done. Yeah, they're getting drafted, but, they're sitting on the end of the bench for maybe the first 2 or 3 years, and then they go down to the D League, and then they get dropped to the G League. Yeah. So therefore, when these athletes, or especially these high schoolers, they do that, and we all know how their spending habits are. They have to keep up with the Joneses, in my opinion. Mm-hmm.
That was another argument from the other side.
Yeah.
Pretty crappy with their money.
And that's the thing. I think the average player, after they retire, it's like 3 to 5 years. That's why you see a lot of these athletes, like, when they retire, they had to sell these houses because they can't afford the property taxes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you may have paid off your house. Like, congrats, you got a 15-bedroom house. But you also, like, probably, like, almost 6 digits on just property taxes alone for your house. So it's just, I think it's just a disservice.
And you have no degree or anything to get a job.
Yeah, you have, these athletes don't have anything to fall back on. So, you know, don't get me wrong. If I was in their situation, I probably would go all in like they do. But it was just different for, I don't know, for myself. That, yeah, maybe I could have somehow got an opportunity to play professionally. That's even here or overseas, or they have professional, like, indoor soccer leagues in the United States.
Yeah.
But that was something that I feared about. Like, what if I don't make it? What am I gonna come back to?
Yeah.
So I think.
So leaving school early for you was never an option. Like, never something you thought about.
No.
Clearly, you wanted to finish school.
I wanted to finish school and get my degree because I thought me getting a degree, it's gonna put me a step ahead of a lot of people. Not saying that I'm trying to sit here and think I'm better than everybody, but it put me
to reach your goals.
To reach my goals,
It was better for you.
I would say I call it the boxes being satisfied where you are in life. That was one of my boxes. You know.
Yeah.
I wanted to get my degree, and just in case soccer didn't happen, which obviously it didn't, I was still able to finish my degree.
Oh yeah.
So I think overall, to sum that all up, the NBA is just NBA and NCAA, NFL, every professional sport out there, they need to have the biggest people sit in a room. They can call it the war room, whatever they want to call it. They need to sit there and they need to develop a plan of action because the system that they have going is failing.
Mm-hmm.
And these owners of these professional teams, they don't care.
No.
You know, perfect example, you know, these owners are buying yachts. And they're using them maybe once or twice.
Or hand jobs at a salon.
Yeah, or they're doing that. You win a Super Bowl and, you know, you're going to do that. So
The week before.
Yeah, the week before. So it's just, I don't know. I just think it's a service, and I just go back to the greed that we live in.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, but whatever. That's how it is.
And the thing is that I don't know how long it's going to take to get changed. Will it ever get changed? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I call it the 1 to 5%ers in this world. They're going to continue getting rich, and
They want to stay that way.
They want to stay that way, so they're not going to want to jeopardize their income, their lifestyle, and the middle class and whatever.
All right. We could probably keep going, but
Oh, yeah.
I got a time
No, you're good.
restraints. So we're going to go back to this beer. I don't know if you drink a good bit of it.
Yeah.
Last call award. No, right?
Mm-mm.
What would you rate it?
Oh, I'm going to give it a solid 1.
Solid 1. Oh, so you do not agree with Josh S. from Cleveland.
No, Josh S. has a different taste buds, and kudos to you, but that beer is awful.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big fan of brown ales. I give it a 2.
Yeah.
Not a big fan.
I think I was just being generous because whoever makes this is probably making a lot more money than I am, but...
Yeah, I think this is one of those you just have to have a taste for it.
Correct.
Like the brown ale. Like
Yeah,
you
I
have
think-
to like brown ale.
Yeah, you have to like it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming, man.
I appreciate it.
It's been a while. I haven't seen this guy in like a year, probably.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So, it was nice to see you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for joining my show.
Of course.
And cheers, man.
Cheers.
Do you have any social media you want people to follow?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you can. The thing is, I have Facebook, but I don't really post a lot. That's the thing.
Twitter, Instagram.
I don't have Twitter, Instagram, so I mean, I'm not kind of say that like
Yeah.
I'm
No,
against
that's cool.
social media, but it's one of those things where I don't think I'm not important.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Well, you can follow Drunk with Buds on Twitter at BudsDrunk. and on Instagram at drink. Fuck, I always fuck this up. At Drunk with Buds. Also, tweet us or send a DM or something. Do you think college athletes should be paid? All right, let me know, and see you next week. Please drink responsibly. If you have or suspect you may have an alcohol addiction, please consult your healthcare provider.